Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. If you're watching this video and it's Salah time, please pause it and go pray and come back when you're done. Please check out the description section of this video to support the channel. The Muslim online space has been buzzing due to collaborations brothers Sneako and Mohammed Hijab have done along with other popular dawah personalities. I was initially sent a clip of cultural Muslim Myron from Fresh and Fit hosting a random Zionist hag, Laura Loomer, who spoke about how she has no problem with Muslims but has a problem with Islam after she was asked about her anti-Muslim reputation by one of brother Myron's guests. This woman clearly is an Islamophobe, which is evident from her online presence over the years, and if you look into her social media posts over time, it makes it abundantly clear that she does have a problem with Muslims. Most noticeably, she recently tweeted for Gaza to be flattened by Israel. She was just too chicken in this particular instance to say she hates Muslims with her chest. That's why she was paying lip service to Myron, because she was desperately clout chasing on his show. Let's take a look at the clip of this nasty Zionist hag disrespecting Islam whilst cultural Muslim Myron just allows it.
The first thing that came up on your name was anti-Muslim.
Yeah.
And it's Ramadan, so I felt like that was kind of like ironic that she's a host during Ramadan, anti-Muslim. So I wanted to ask you directly, is that the case?
I don't hate Muslims. I mean, right? We just grabbed some food right before coming on the show. Like,
okay.
I wouldn't be on your show if I hated Muslims, right?
Yeah.
I'm not anti-Muslim, but I am anti-Islam. Like, I'm not a fan of Islam because, you know, it's an oppressive ideology. I think that it's a supremacist ideology and it oppresses women. And in these countries where they have Sharia law, you are not able to practice your religion freely, right? And so here in the United States of America, where they say we have so-called freedom of religion, yeah, well, like Muslims here in America are not living in reality because that's not the reality for like 90% of the world's Muslims, right? Like 2 billion of the world's Muslims. And so because I speak out about human rights violations, right? Like I'm not in favor of stoning women, only whores. I'm not in favor of throwing gays off of buildings, right? I'm not a fan of all these, you know, free Palestine whack jobs running around the streets of Miami that are calling for the eradication of Israel and Jews. I'm just not down with that, right? But I don't hate Muslim people. I'm not a fan of Islam.
I am disappointed in Myron. He continues to platform clowns like Laura Loomer, who openly calls for kids and civilians in Palestine to be exterminated. And Myron allowing her to disrespect the religion he is blessed to be born into blows my mind. Laura is a Zionist hag and a far-right box-ticking robot, sounding off buzzwords from a bigoted scripted checklist. She is a follower of a right-wing tribe of morons that think disrespecting Islam is trendy and scores them points within their online echo chamber. They're just as bad as woke leftist liberals. They just have their own version of anti-Muslim delusion and nonsense they promote. Laura, Islam and Muslims are more based and conservative than you can ever dream of being. No matter how much you cosplay as a traditional conservative woman and a fangirl for Trump, you still come across as a degenerate, promiscuous, obnoxious tramp that is not worthy of being a wife and mother. Which explains why Laura is in her 30s, unmarried with no children and dressed like a scallywag with her hair dyed red like a feminist. This woman is a walking contradiction and cannot be taken seriously. Let me refute her points regarding Islam and stoning women. There is no mention of stoning as a form of capital punishment in the Holy Qur'an. It was implemented into Sharia for promiscuity by Islamic scholars, which she said herself she agrees with. However, in Judaism, I mention this because Laura is Jewish, the Torah and the Old Testament prescribe stoning women as a form of capital punishment for adultery. And that's the thing with these Islamophobic idiots. They are the biggest hypocrites and deceivers. Everything they accuse Muslims and Islam of is in their religion and culture more so. In fact, there are actually more types of capital punishment in her religion than in Islam. Go study your own religion first, sweetheart, before criticising ours. My intention is not to disrespect Judaism in any way. It's simply to highlight the hypocrisy and low IQ of Laura Loomer and to advise her not to throw stones, no pun intended, whilst living in a glass house. Let's refute her points regarding Islam and the throwing of members of the rainbow community from rooftops. This specific action is not stated in the Quran either. This is a practice of a so-called extremist group. Again, this is what ignorant Islamophobes do. They take an aspect of the culture of a particular Muslim nation or group and prescribe that to the whole religion of Islam. Laura must not know that in her religion, Judaism, capital punishment is in place for being a member of the LDHDTV community. It's so strange that she failed to mention that. It's clear Laura Laura does no research. She just parrots preconceived, bigoted, anti-Muslim slogans used online to demonise Muslims. My brothers and sisters, please do your research and know your religion, because Islamophobes are not that smart. They are easily refuted. Laura is speaking as if all of a sudden she's friends with the rainbow community, when she herself has put out prior tweets strongly opposing them. But when it comes to supporting her Islamophobia, I guess she is an advocate for them. It's the same story. Zionists will support anything as long as it allows them to hate Islam. It's like someone looking at Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, who happen to be Jewish, and labelling Judaism as a faith or all Jewish people in that way. That would be inaccurate and unfair. The same goes for labelling Christianity or all Christians as being the same as Jimmy Savile. It's not right. These types of generalisations would only come from someone with discrimination as their intention. Laura also took shots at people protesting to free Palestine and labelled these people as having the intention to eradicate Israel. Again, this is deception and ignorance, as most people who are protesting, Muslim and non-Muslim and pro-Palestinian Jewish protesters also, just want the genocide to stop and innocent children and civilians not to be harmed. Laura, on the other hand, called for Gaza to be flattened. She is a two-faced, hypocritical, genocidal maniac. The reality is she was too scared of Myron to say how she really feels about Muslims. Brother Myron needs to step up. It's not just the Ummah being disrespected here, it's your practicing Muslim family members. Please treat us with respect, or at the very least don't allow us to be disrespected by clout-chasing trad con morons. Brother Sneako and Mohammed Hijab, along with Ali Dawa, spoke on this matter. Here's what they had to say.
The first time I heard about you were critical of my good friends at Fresh and Fit. And obviously they have podcasts with girls, and the focus of their podcast, a lot of it is on the dunya. What would you tell to the Muslims that are getting clouded by that?
What would you say to Fresh and Fit, bro?
To be honest,
Myron, what would you say to Myron?
What would you say to them?
To be honest, the videos that I've done, I don't think I was critical of them. I was just giving the see. I don't remember.
I'm giving some advice.
I gave advice.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So to me, look, not just them, anybody for that matter. Yeah. Look, we've been there. You've been there. I've been a disbeliever for 23 years of my life. So it's very simple. Just choose who you're going to be a slave to. We are bound to be a slave to something. So the ones who are following the dunya, that is your master. That is your master. The money, the girls, the parties, all of that, that is your master. Each one is a master. What I'm just saying is that free yourselves from the shackles of multiple masters to one true master who is deserving of your worship, which is Allah. Once you do that, then you'll find your freedom. If you don't, let me tell you something. Allah will humiliate you with the dunya that you're after. If it's a woman, it'll be a woman. If it's the cause of money. But Allah will humiliate you. You will never find happiness.
So you have the physical courage and you have the moral courage. Moral courage is to speak what is true. With someone like Myron or someone like Fresh and Fit, what I would say to them, bro, is, with all due respect, like recently there was some kind of thing where a woman, I didn't even watch it, but I was told about it. She was attacking the Prophet. And she was
ZI0NIST, yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't say anything. So I would say this is lacking in moral courage. Now, I'm not saying you're a coward. Maybe you just had the wrong idea about it. We're not going to throw you under the bus like that, Myron. But what we're saying is that the next step for the true rites of passage, for you to be a real man, from all perspectives, not just from the perspective of Islam, from virtue ethics times, from Aristotle's times, from the Babylonian times, the Africans, the Asians, the Chinese, everyone would say, speak the truth. Malcolm X, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
It's well known in all societies that this is what it takes to be a man. So forget about the body count, sorry to say. This is true. This is kid stuff.
It sounds
how many women
now. Yeah.
how many women you can get and bag and put in the bed and bend her over and give her some money. She don't even love you and she don't even care. She's just doing it for fame or money or whatever. Yeah, it's a prostitute. Most of these people in Fresh and Prince, sorry to say, they're escorts. They are escorts. They are prostitutes.
I'm on the podcast, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
We are going to have Mohammed Hijab on the show, guys. So shout out to him. Shout out to all the Muslim brothers out there. We're definitely going to have him on the podcast. I was actually talking with Sneako, and he's going to make the intro. So it's going to be great. I'm excited for it. I really am. He's going to be our first Islamic scholar that we've had on the podcast. So it's going to be great. I'm actually really excited for it.
I think this was a very mature response. Credit to the brothers for speaking on it in a respectful manner. And as you saw, this resulted in Myron inviting Mohammed Hijab on his show. This could be the first step of the brother returning to actively practicing Islam in his everyday life. I look forward to seeing him and the other Muslim brothers sit down and have a discussion, inshallah. Judging from his online presence, Myron seems to be putting dunya before deen. He has gained financially from the manosphere space and has become famous from his involvement with it also. But no ideology is more beneficial or more in tune with male biology than the religion of Islam, and the same applies to women too. Fulfilling physical desire is not the purpose of life. Faith, family, community, and solid morals are just some benefits that come with being a practicing Muslim. Also, Myron himself will know that Muslim men are permitted to have 4 wives. He can do things in a halal manner if he wishes, but it comes with massive amounts of responsibility, treating females fairly and selecting righteous women, instead of irresponsible, fleeting intimacy with promiscuous and morally corrupt women. Brother Ali Dawah hit the nail on the head when he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala humiliates the wrongdoers on earth if they put their desires before deen. No disrespect to Myron, but an example of what Brother Ali was saying in Myron's life is evident through how he has been the victim of false accusations from the promiscuous women he's been involved with, who targeted him to chase money and fame. And as a public figure, if he continues with this type of lifestyle, in addition to the feminist agenda already in place against him, it is quite likely that he will find himself in similar circumstances once again, due to the type of women he is dealing with. Hopefully he returns to the deen before such unfortunate circumstances take place. Thank you for watching. Make sure to join my free Telegram group via the link in the description, where we as Muslims can speak freely and without censorship about issues like this, and in order to guide and support each other in our deen. Or if you have a more serious personal issue you need help with, please feel free to book a call with me. And remember to like, subscribe and become a channel member for access to exclusive content. Until next time, inshallah, Jazakallah khair.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah